Epstein. Now, again, I've listened now for months. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle disparage and try to impugn the character of the President of the United States and other members of the administration in connection to an investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, which the President, his administration in 2019, they indicted Epstein. They actually moved forward and federally indicted him in 2019. Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested by the Trump administration.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hot News Today,
from South Carolina.
the place where we cut through the noise and break down the political moments everyone else is scared
I do want to say I
about.
appreciate the
Listen,
gentleman from Maryland.
I just watched this clip, and let me tell you, Chip Roy did not come play. This wasn't some soft, scripted congressional speech. This was raw, unapologetic, and honestly, long overdue. We've been fed months of outrage from the other side about Epstein, about transparency, about protecting victims. Yet the moment someone in their own circle gets caught texting a convicted felon during an actual hearing, suddenly the room gets real quiet. Chip Roy said, no, we're not doing that today. And I respect it. If you're tired of double standards, tired of hypocrisy, and tired of Congress pretending things are normal when they're clearly not, then you're going to want to see this breakdown. Before we get into it, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Hot News Today. And drop a comment telling me if you think this deserves censure or not. Because after hearing this, I think you'll have an opinion.
Nefarious affairs
all right, let's run the
involving Jeffrey Epstein. The reason that I support this resolution is, and I would note that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, they could have tabled this resolution. They chose not to table it. They chose to refer it, which suggests to me that there's a recognition that something here is not particularly good, that we've got a sitting member, in this case the delegate from the U.S. Virgin Islands, who was sitting in the Oversight Committee. And I'm actually a particular interest here because I was the one doing the questioning. Apparently my questioning was so riveting that she was engaging in text messages back and forth at that moment. While I was questioning Mr. Cohen, the gentlelady was engaging in this back and forth on text messages with Jeffrey Epstein. And I know the gentleman from Maryland will go on to say that the Biden administration then carry forward that arrest and indictment into prosecution. True. But it was in fact the Trump administration that did what had not been done for a long period of time by taking forward that indictment. So I've been listening to all of the preaching by my friends on the other side of the aisle about how any association, anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein is somehow the dispositive moment here in terms of determining the character of this administration or what they're doing or not doing when they're leaning in to try to seek the truth. Where tens of thousands of pages have been released by Jamie Comer and 13 subpoenas has all been put out. So now the House just voted to have greater transparency. Time will tell what that means in terms of what the court does and how they deal with grand jury secrecy and what they do to continue to redact and protect victims' names under existing laws and how the courts treat that. That's going to be a process, as the gentleman likely knows, right? This is going to be determined as to what gets released and how. But here we have the gentlelady sitting in the Oversight Committee texting with a known convicted felon, a convicted pedophile that was very public and known, had served jail time, and is engaging not just in texts that were trivial, but texts involving advice about her questioning of Michael Cohen, all designed to figure out how to get Michael Cohen to be able to somehow go after Trump or Trump's advisors or people around the president. That, to me, is what we talk about with censure, which is contemplated, of course, in our rules and in the structure. The gentleman talked about the Constitution. We're not removing her. We're simply saying censure. And we're saying that it is a censurable conduct to say that this individual sitting on a committee taking advice from a known convicted pedophile, convicted felon, that is conduct unbecoming of a member of the United States Congress and engaging in real time, taking advice from someone that we've been listening to being lectured to, is someone deserving of all of the scorn of the entire world, and he is. That's why we're here. If my colleagues didn't think this was a concern, they would have simply made a motion to table. But my colleagues decided to refer it to committee because they know this is a problem. They know this is not the kind of conduct you want in a member of this body. So I think that the gentleman from South Carolina is right to have brought this forward. I think that the body should hear this debate, and tonight that we should vote tonight to censure and refer to the Ethics Committee for further consideration. And with that, I yield back.
Okay, now that we've all watched the full thing, let's talk about what we just saw, because Chip Roy absolutely delivered one of the clearest, hardest-hitting arguments I've seen in Congress in a long time. First off, Chip Roy isn't yelling. They aren't grandstanding. They're laying out facts that nobody on the other side wants to touch. And the biggest one? A sitting member of Congress, during an Oversight Committee hearing, was texting Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted felon and known predator, for real-time advice on how to question Michael Cohen. That alone should make every American sit up straight. Now here's the part that really got me. Chip Roy points out that for months, the opposing side has thrown every accusation imaginable at Trump and anyone connected to him, claiming even the smallest tie to Epstein is some kind of moral death sentence. Yet here we have a delegate literally texting Epstein himself, not 10 years ago, not once briefly, but during a live congressional hearing, and suddenly the outrage is gone. Chip Roy exposes that hypocrisy with absolute precision. Then they highlight something people conveniently forget. It was Trump's DOJ that actually indicted Epstein in 2019 and arrested Ghislaine Maxwell. That wasn't Biden. That wasn't some bipartisan miracle. That was the administration, the same critics accuse of being soft on Epstein. Roy then makes the key point. This resolution isn't about removing anyone. It's not some partisan hit job. It's a censure, a statement saying this conduct is not okay. And honestly, they're right. When you're sitting in one of the most powerful legislative bodies in the world, you cannot be taking cues from a convicted predator mid-hearing. That's not bad optics. That's a fundamental breach of ethics. And here's the part that exposes everything. The other side could have tabled the resolution. They didn't. They referred it instead because deep down, they know this is a problem. They know it looks bad. They know this crosses a line. Chip Roy calls it out without fear, without hesitation, and without political spin. And that's what leadership looks like.